Hi, my name's Mark. I'm one of the pastors here at Trillium. On April 14th, 1997, my father died, just suddenly. Of course, we have the funeral afterwards, and my brothers and I begin looking after his affairs. On May 1st, I head down to Eastern Ontario to do an internship, a 4-month placement as part of my training for ministry. But a month after that, I'm out riding my bike on a beautiful evening, and I'm just sitting there at a corner from a concession I'm on in a main county road. And up the county road comes this car, and I'm looking at it, and all of a sudden my spider senses start tingling away. And I'm looking at this car very carefully, and I realize it's my father driving the car. And I'm just sitting there bewildered, amazed by what I'm experiencing. And he just, as he gets closer, he kind of just nods at me and puts his hand up from the steering wheel and just to say hello. And then he's passing me and he's gone. There's a little hill just beyond. He goes over the hill and it's over. 20 seconds in, probably, from the beginning to end, it's over. And I'm just sitting there stunned by what's happened. But about a month later, I'm telling my brothers this story, and they're very rational, skeptical people, and they both dismissed it off as some kind of hallucination. I suppose that's possible, but it sure didn't feel like one to me. I felt like I was in a really good space. I'd been riding for quite a ways. I had that kind of catharsis you have after hard exercise. I'm just sitting there, and it just comes out of the blue towards me. Have you had something uncanny like that happen to you? Something uncanny in life that just kind of challenges your expectations or your assumptions about how life works? Patricia Pearson's written a book about this sort of thing, and she talks in the book about the fact that half of Western people, North Americans, Europeans, have some kind of experience of a deceased person later in life, like after they've died. They come back in presence or in some kind of vision or something like that. And I'm thinking half the people have some kind of experience of a deceased person afterwards. And then it's an amazing thought when you think about it. What's going on in that experience? What does that tell us about life? What do the uncanny events in life have to say to us about how life really works? Peter and John, they have an uncanny experience. They create a miracle at the temple, at the door going into the temple. They heal this guy that has been born with an infirmity, and he's restored back to total health. And then start talking about the afterlife and about resurrection, about miracle making, and the leaders of the temple, the Sadducees, they run the whole Jewish religion. They come charging out with the temple guards, and they arrest Peter and John, because the Sadducees, they don't believe in miracles. They don't believe in miracles. Miracles might have been around when Moses was around, but they're not around anymore. We have the Torah. The Torah is the law of God. It tells us right from wrong. That's all we need. And they don't believe in the uncanny. They don't really believe in any kind of afterlife. They don't believe in resurrection. And yet there's, Peter and John before them. And there's this guy right beside them. He's been healed. And they stand perplexed in the moment. We live in a world that kind of scoffs at the uncanny and overtly, even though half of us have those experiences. And it's something that we have to really struggle against in order to begin to talk about these sort of things. I mean, we've sort of stopped talking about the uncanny experiences in life, and it's deeply unfortunate, because that is our spiritual nature at work. It's a tragedy to me that the temple where miracles and the uncanny should be occurring most of all, the miracles of life and the flowing of energy, of love, should be happening in ways that goes beyond our rational understanding. That's the place that should most welcome it. It's the very place that's close to it. And that's so often true in church as well. We become so imbued with rationality that we've exclude the uncanny in life. And I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't it be great to create a church community where the uncanny was welcomed in? Well, we didn't try to over-explain it or over-analyze it or say there's good uncanny and there's legitimate and illegitimate uncanny, but we just simply bring it in just to explore and wonder, sit in amazement at. I'm not really totally sure what happened that day with my dad when he drove by. Pearson talks about the fact that she interviewed a couple of psychiatrists who had these, after death experiences with loved ones, and they rationalized it just as grief hallucinations. As I said earlier, I suppose that's an explanation, but it doesn't really sit home with me. I'm not really, to be honest, totally certain what happened that day, and I'm okay with that.